Strap in for the world's fastest half hour. You're on the Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. And brought to you by Hercules Tires and Grunt Style Apparel. Now, here are your hosts, Doug Herbert and Ralph Sheheen.
Headed into the final race of the year. Pomona's on the horizon. 3 championships still to be crowned in the pro categories. We'll set it all up as we get ready for Pomona here on MRN's The Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Hi everybody, I'm Ralph Sheheen. Welcome into our studio here at MRN as we get ready for Pomona. Can't wait for the finale to the 2018 Mellow Yellow Drag Racing season. My buddy Doug Herbert, not here next to me today. He's busy off flying some old warbird around somewhere down in Florida, but he is on our Racing Electronics hotline with us. Doug, you there?
Yeah, Ralph, I'm here, man.
What are you doing down there?
Well, a friend of mine, Tom Riley, he restores these old warbirds, and I got to fly in a B-17 with him a few years ago, and today we're getting ready. We're going to go fly around. He's going to let me pilot a B-25 here in a little bit, so we're going to have a little bit of fun doing that, and it's just amazing looking at these planes and flying them and thinking about these kids that flew them back in World War II, getting shot at, and just makes you give a whole new respect for these guys and the men and women that flew in them.
Absolutely. He does know that you're a former Top Fuel guy, right? He knows it's probably not the great idea to put you in the controls, right?
Well, actually, he owns one of my old Top Fuel cars, so he's ready to go Top Fuel racing here before too long as well. So I'm going to give him a Top Fuel lessons, and he's giving me B-25 lessons, I guess is how we're figuring that out.
Great. Okay, so that's what I got to do to get Top Fuel lessons from you. I got to own a B-25. All right, well, that makes sense. All right, well, let's before you go flying over the Florida sky there, let's talk a little bit about Pomona. And let's start, obviously, Top Fuel is already handled. Let's get right into Funny Car. We got J.R. Todd, Robert Hight here, separated by 74 points, and there's a lot of points still on the table. What are you thinking?
Man, I'll tell you what, I think it's good to be in the position that J.R. Todd's in he's in the catbird seat, but 74 points at Pomona with a 1.5 points deal, so every round down there is worth 30 points. So Robert Hight is going to have to go 3 rounds more than J.R. Todd to get around him. I think J.R. Todd's in a pretty good position, but you know what? It's just not over till it's over. So we'll have to see what happens. I think Pomona is going to be one of the best years ever out there, just with all the the competition going into Pomona with the funny car class. So I'm pretty excited about it. It's no cakewalk. Robert Hight can go out there and lay down low ET and win the race, and obviously J.R. Todd can, just like he did last weekend in Vegas. So it's going to be down to the wire on that one.
Yeah, and how about momentum? Do you give any of that to JR, bringing that into the Pomona this year?
Absolutely. I think that whim, the Coletta team winning last weekend over there in Vegas gives them an incredible amount of momentum. So I would have to give an edge to them for that, just for that momentum. And, I guarantee you these guys the past week or so, I talked to John Oberhofer, co-crew chief, they're working on it. I mean, they see that the championship is within their grasp. That team won the championship back a couple years ago with Del Worsham driving the car. So, they know what it's going to take to win. And, they got their nose to the grindstone trying to grab that carrot.
All right, so in pro stock, you got Tanner Gray up 140 on Jed Coughlin Jr., and then Eric Anders sits there at 149. This would be a big thing for Tanner. He's already talked about leaving the series and maybe trying out NASCAR in his future. This would be a great way to put this on your resume, take a pro championship with you.
Well, no doubt about it. I think with a 140-point lead, it's pretty much over. But, it's not over till it's over, so you have to see what happens. But I think Tanner Gray's in a great position, 140-point lead. It's going to be very difficult, for anybody to catch him. I think he's just got to go in there to Pomona, do what he's been doing all year, run well, keep focused on what the goal is. And I think that they're, it's not over, but it's pretty close to being over.
I think the one that's really, the funny car category obviously is very exciting, but pro stock motorcycle, this one's going to be crazy. Matt Smith is just 4 points up on Eddie Krawick, and then right behind them is Tonglet 61 back and Hector Aranda Jr. at 64 back. That's going to be pretty wild.
Right. Well, with Arana coming off that win last weekend in Las Vegas, I think it's going to be very interesting. Obviously, Craywick has got all the Harley Davidson, Vance and Hines experience behind him. Of course, Matt Smith. I mean, he's a champion. He knows how to win. I've been friends with his dad, Ricky Smith. He's won I don't even know how many championships, more than I can count on my hands in professional categories. So you can't count him out. I'm excited to hear what Matt has to say on the show a little bit later. I think I think there again. I think he's just got that work ethic. I mean, Matt has a great work ethic, and I think he's in a good spot. There again, being in the lead is a good place, but man, having that Vance and Hines Harley Davidson looking down your tail at that close that that he is, that's going to be tough. So Matt's got his work cut out for him coming up at Pomona for sure.
You've been in the position, obviously, of winning multiple championships. And you've had to do it in different ways each and every time. Mindset-wise, was it always the same, or did you take each situation differently and put your strategy together accordingly?
Well, I was fortunate enough to win 4 championships, and I think the first championship I was just nervous, and that didn't help anything at all. When you go into that last race and you focus on what you have to do, and you focus on doing the same thing as you've been doing to get you to the point where you are, that's what needs to be done. I think Matt Smith knows how to do that. I think Eddie Craywick knows how to do that. Hector Arana Sr. won a championship not long ago, so I mean they get it. It's probably in a better position being out front and being in I wouldn't say comfortable, but being in a position where you understand what you're doing, and I think that's where Matt Smith and Eddie Craywick are.
Well, I know those props are probably starting to spin in the background, so before I let you go, I got to get you into some red light, green light here. I was out at SEMA this past week, and in talking to a lot of the people out there about drag racing and the NHRA and where things are going in the future, one of the ideas being bannered about a little bit is taking the top 2 fuel categories to every round no matter what. Obviously, you have to do that. Funny car and top fuel.
Show.
Then you have, that's right, that is the show. Then you have the other 4 categories. We have the factory stock showdown category, Leah Pritchett just won. Pro stock motorcycle, pro stock, and pro mod. None of those 4 categories are running at every round. What about the idea of taking any combination of those 2 to different venues so that the fans are always seeing something new? For example, you would go to ZMAX Dragway in Charlotte in April, you'd see the top 2 fuel categories and then factory showdown and pro stock. And then you come back in September, get the 2 fuel categories, pro mod and pro stock motorcycle. Do you red light or green light that?
I red lighted just from the standpoint of having the pro stock guys are used to going everywhere, and they've been doing that for as long as I can remember. The motorcycle guys probably like their schedule. They like seeing them every year at Gainesville. I mean, that's been their starting point at Gainesville for I don't know how many years, longer than I've been doing this. So I got to say that it's probably a red light. But then on the green light side of it, it could save those categories and really make more competition if they can get more racers out there to run a limited schedule. Then that'd obviously be a green light. That's a tough call. I wouldn't want to be the one having to make that decision, because either way you go, there's going to be somebody that wanted you to go the other way.
Well, it might be a situation where it's what the sanctioning body has to do. If they're going to shorten up some of these schedules, it might be a way of keeping it fresh. Some of those racers would get to see different tracks, different seasons. That might be kind of fun. Plus, for the race fan, you might get to see a category you've never had a chance to see at your local racetrack.
Right, and that's true. I'm a big fan of the bikes. I like the bikes. I think they're fun to watch. You've got Angel and you've got other, really successful women racing in that class. And then, in pro stock, you've got Erica Andrews and the whole story that goes behind her. I mean, there's a lot of fans that come out to see that. And then you've got pro mods. I love seeing pro mods. Who doesn't love seeing pro mods? I mean, they all look differently. They all have their own personality. Generally they go everywhere but straight, which is kind of fun, to watch from a spectator standpoint. I hate to see any of them go, but just as you said, I think for the whole future of the sport, they have to look at what's best for the sport overall. And probably what they're talking about doing is a good way to go.
Well, like I said, it's just rumor mill conversation around the water cooler at SEMA. So we'll see. That's just some of the stuff the racers and people involved in the industry were kind of kicking around out in Vegas this past week. Hey, have a great time up there in the B25. What's the name on the nose?
It's Killer Bees.
Killer Bees.
I'm going fly. Yep, I'm going flying in the Killer Bees. The guy that owns the airplane is Tom Riley. He's just an expert restoration guy. He's restoring an XP-82 right now, which is a dual P-51 type of an airplane, and it is absolutely incredible. He's a great guy. He's been a friend of mine for a long time and a racing fan, and looking forward to going flying in a B-25 with him.
So if you're somewhere down in Florida and you look up in the sky and you see a B-25 with Killer Bees on the nose, it's just our buddy Doug Herbert. Have a great time down there, Doug. I'll see you back here next to me next week, okay?
All righty. Thanks, Ralph. We'll talk to you soon, and good luck to all our buddies out in Pomona this weekend.
Okay, have a great time. Hey, stay with us. We're coming right back. Matt Smith is up next. Electronics Hotline here on MRN's The Straight Line.
Things happen fast in racing, and if you don't know where to look, you can miss it all. With Legend from Racing Electronics, you'll never miss another moment. Legend gives you live fan vision video, in-car cameras, and stats at premier National Series events, and the next generation race scanner for unfiltered driver and crew audio at any motorsports event nationwide. Race fans have never been closer to the action. Welcome to the future of the fan experience. Learn more by visiting racingelectronics.com.
O'Reilly. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, pick up a 5 1/4 ounce bottle of Lucas Fuel Injector Cleaner for $3.99. Clean and lubricate your fuel system while increasing miles per gallon with Lucas Fuel Injector Cleaner for $3.99 at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hi, this is Mike Bagley. Join me and the rest of the MRN crew every Tuesday night for NASCAR Live. We'll put a bow on the weekend's action and get you ready for the upcoming race with the biggest names in the sport.
As you look at that particular race, that's been one of our best races over the years, and I think every driver in the garage is looking forward to racing this particular package.
Hear exclusive interviews, expert analysis, as well as stuff you won't hear anywhere else.
Oh yeah, good job, guys. Good job.
It's NASCAR Live this Tuesday night at 7 Eastern on the Motor Racing Network.
Welcome back to The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Here's more with Ralph Sheheen and Doug Herbert.
Welcome back. Again, all of our guests on The Straight Line come to you via the Racing Electronics Hotline. Hi, everybody. Ralph Sheheen here with you once again. And joining us on that Racing Electronics Hotline is a man who leads the Pro Stock motorcycle category, Matt Smith. Matt, you there?
I'm here. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you? You're the one with all the pressure building this week.
There's really no pressure. I mean, we just have to focus on going and doing our job, not look at where the points are right now. And, I told somebody the other day, I said, if I get my hot rod back that I had when I debuted this bike at Brainerd, which we think we figured it out on Monday testing after Vegas, we just go win the race and it'll work out like it's supposed to.
Okay, now I don't expect you to tell me all the inner secrets of what you were finding. What were you searching for? Was it a feeling, a response out of the bike? What was it that you had at Brainerd that you were trying to find in testing at Vegas?
Well, when we debuted the new chassis and the new body at Brainerd, we were number one qualifier at Brainerd. We went to Indy, we were number one qualifier. Reading, we ran really, really good. And ever since then, we just kind of fell off a little bit. And it's not that we fell off on speed, it's that we fell off on ET. And the bike just wasn't 330. And we could not transition from 60 to 330. And we have fought that for the last 3 races. And so we decided to stay over on Monday and test and after the Vegas race. And I think we picked up 2.5 hundredths to the 330. So I think we're going to be back to where we were, when we debuted this bike.
So for those that maybe are not used to those types of numbers, how significant is that gain that you found?
Well, let me put it this way. So I guess up until the final round at Vegas, Hector Jr., the quickest pass was like a 691, I think. And then Hector Jr. in the finals went 688, but the weather had cooled off a little bit and all that. So when we tested on Monday, it was about 500 feet worse air and we had a little bit more of a headwind on Monday, and we went a 690 at almost 196. So our performance, I think, is back to where it needs to be, and kind of looking forward to Pomona and trying to go win this third championship.
So let's talk about Pomona now and the racing surface there. Is it one that you feel that your bike will perform properly on the way you need it to, or are there some idiosyncrasies in between the two different lanes?
Typically the right lane will tend to spin the tire a little bit on the starting line, but all the pro stock car guys like the right lane the best. So, the bikes typically like the left lane the best. So, we'll just see. Maybe in HRA the track will be prepped different this year. They're doing a different prep, so it might be fine in both lanes this year. But we'll just go and attack the track and try to get as many little points as we can. And like I said, it doesn't matter where we actually qualify and all the little points with points and a half. Whoever wins the race out of me and Eddie is basically going to win the championship. So, I know Ellie and Junior, they have a shot at this thing, but if we win first round, me and Eddie, it's down to me and him. So we're just going to go and focus on winning the race and, take home like we did in 2007. We had to win the race to win the championship.
So with your team, obviously you've got to get yourself in one mindset. How do you go about organizing your team's mental strategy?
I just basically have told the guys, look, let's go up and have no mistakes. We have to go down the track every time. We can't have a part falling off the bike or something going wrong. So as a team, we just got to do our job, and everybody double-check each other and double-check everything that we do just because it's so critical this last race. And that's kind of the mindset that we have. Everybody knows that we've got a fast motorcycle, and everybody knows that if we get the bike back that we had 3 races ago, that we're going to be tough to beat. Even with Harley Davidson, with all the money they have behind them, we'll be fine if we get our bike back.
As you mentioned, Harley brings a wealth of technology and personnel and everything to the table. What's the biggest strength that you guys have that they should be worried about?
I guess the biggest strength that we have is we just do everything ourselves. Harley, Eddie and Andrew, they've brought a third bike out to try to help them win the championship with chip riding. And, basically, they leave a lot of part and responsibility to the people inside their shop, doing stuff for them, from building their motors to all that stuff. My team we do everything in-house. So we've literally, me and Angie have got our hands on everything that happens, from putting the motors together to dynoing to putting them in the bike to driving the rig out here. So I think that's our biggest strength that we have. We understand everything that's going on, and I think that's our strength.
What will you do the night before? Do you have a routine that you tend to run through that gets yourself prepared for a race day?
No, I just focus on my lane. It really doesn't matter who's in the other lane. As long as you take care of business in your lane and focus on your side of the track and make the best run you can, then typically 9 times out of 10, you'll turn the wind light on. And that's my routine. It doesn't matter who you run. You just got to go do your job as a rider.
As you think about this championship and everything that you were just saying there about Harley and everything they bring and what you have to go through with your team to get ready for one of these rounds of racing, this wouldn't be your first championship in your career, but would it maybe be the most meaningful after everything you've had to come through to get this done?
Yeah, it probably would be the most meaningful. For us not having a sponsor this year and running, I started the year out on somebody else's bike because we didn't have a sponsor, and that fell apart in one race. The D&Q at the first race on that person's bike, and to come back to win 3 races this year and leading the points going to the last race, that's pretty big for our team. So if we can accomplish this, hopefully, one, it's great to win the championship. The money's great, the publicity's great, but more than anything, hopefully it'll just bring us a sponsor along so we can continue to show how good this race team is for next year.
Are you going to get any sleep this week?
We just left Vegas last night, so we stayed there for SEMA, and Angie's bike was in the Denso booth. during SEMA. So, we had a good time. It was a long 11 days in Vegas, but, we drove out to California. It was 3.5 hours last night. And, we're here in California now and just relaxing and going to go see some of our product sponsors, out here on the West Coast for the next couple of days and just get ourselves mentally and physically prepared and rested up for the battle this weekend.
You realize staying 11 days and surviving 11 days in Vegas is worth a championship in its own right, right?
You're exactly right. I mean, everybody loves to go to Vegas, but, man, after 5 days there, you're ready to go. And after 11, man, I was ready to get out of there.
I bet you were. Listen, Matt, all the best to you. Best of luck this weekend. You're 4 up on Eddie Krawick. 61 back is Tonglet, and then 3 more behind him is Hector Arana. We're anxious to keep an eye on the results this weekend, and we look forward to hopefully talking to you the following week in the championship show.
Thank you, and hopefully we can bring this thing back to North Carolina and, do y'all some good too, some proud there.
All right, Matt Smith joining us on our Racing Electronics hotline. Best of luck to Matt, and we'll be right back here on MRN Straight Line. J.R. Todd next up.
Welcome to the Speed Sport News Center. I'm Derek Prenesiglio.
Suzuki presents Speed Sport.
These are guys that you can take anywhere in the country and they can win on any given night.
Oh! What a great shot.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there. Whether you're running on dirt or running a job. Our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice, Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, right on our strength.
O'Reilly Auto Parts is proud to offer a military discount for those who have served our country. If you're an active or retired member of the military or a veteran, stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store and receive your discount every day as our way of saying thank you for your service. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You're staged for another run on the straight line. Brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Once again, here's Doug and Ralph.
Well, Doug is not here. My buddy Doug Herbert is actually flying a B-25 high in the sky somewhere over Florida today. So I'm flying solo here at our MRN Straight Line Studios. All of it brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. And, of course, all of our guests appear on the Racing Electronics Hotline. And that's where we find the funny car points leader, J.R. Todd. Good to have you with us, pal.
Hey, Ralph. Thanks for having me on again.
My pleasure. Look, when you're leading the points going into the final round, that guarantees you a spot on the show.
I like that. Yeah, it's nice to be the points leader going to the last race there in Pomona, but that points and a half definitely makes things interesting, and it's not over by any means, but hopefully we can come out of there with another race win. If we do that, we'll be leaving there with 2 trophies.
Yeah, 74 is the gap between you and Robert Hype, but as you said, a point and a half. Do you like that idea of that extra half point at the final round?
At this point, no. I wish the regular point format, but no, it's going to make it exciting and definitely gives the guys a better shot at winning the championship and makes it exciting for the fans, anyways. But other than Top Fuel, it didn't work out for that class, but no, it should be good there in Pomona. And like I said, we just need to keep doing what we have been all countdown long, just making good, consistent runs and going to the later rounds and racking up those points.
So how has your team been able to achieve that? What have you guys been focusing on to be so consistent?
Honestly, I feel like the performance of the car came around right around the time of the U.S. Nationals, and Todd Smith and Jono, the crew chiefs, they've been doing a good job maintaining and not getting crazy with the tune-up, just racing within their means and racing Smart and the yellow fellows, the crew guys on the car, just been doing a great job putting the thing together. And a combination like that, it's a lot of fun to drive, and makes my job I don't want to say easier, just a lot more fun, and I can have a lot more confidence in the car and go up there and focus on things like my reaction time and keeping that thing stuck down the center of the groove. And so far, it's been a good combo.
Do you guys try to put pressure on Height early on in the day, or do you just try to do your thing and let them try to figure it out?
Honestly, I mean, I think that, come qualifying time, that we need to go out there and just kind of throw down like we have been all during the playoff, just try and go for the top spot. I mean, we're getting bonus points for qualifying runs, and that's what we need to do. Then go up there and race smart, just race what the conditions and the track will allow us. And like I keep saying, people ask, what do you need to do to clinch and this and that? Like, win the race. But win the race, the points fall in place, and we'll be the champ. So that's my mentality, at least, going into this weekend.
Is Pomona a track you get excited about? Do you like the racing surface there? Does it fit you and your style?
Honestly, I love going to Pomona. I mean, it's kind of the birthplace of drag racing there in Southern California. I mean, you get excited there when we go there in February because you're kicking off the season. Then there in November, it's the end of the season. Just it has a different vibe from all the different places we go on tour. And the track, when the conditions are right, it can be really fast there. It's always a good facility, one that we look forward to going to, and I can't wait to go out there and stand on the gas come Friday afternoon.
Do you tend to have a preference over one lane or the other there?
It can be tricky there, depending on what time of day it is. I mean, the sun sets, it's kind of right in your face if you're in the left lane. You're trying to look at the tree, looking at the yellow lights for the reaction time. But, yeah, it depends what time of day it is. And, honestly, I mean, lane choice never really comes down to the driver. It's usually crew chief preference. But when it gets like that, I mean, they'll ask you, hey, the lanes are kind of even. What do you think? And that's where I'll kind of speak up. But hopefully we have that problem where we're in those later rounds and have to decide those things.
How do you and Robert tend to stack up when you face off against each other?
Man, I think that he's gotten the best of me up to this point. I mean, they're a tough team with Jimmy Prock and Chris Cunningham. I think all the crew chiefs in the class will tell you, like, they're the benchmark. And Robert, he's a great driver. I mean, they got the number one on the side for a reason, and they're going to be tough to beat. And hopefully we can get some help like we did last week there in Las Vegas from our teammate Sean Langan was able to knock those guys out first round. That we capitalized on that, went on to win the race and gained a lot of points on him. So it'd be nice if we could get some help like that again there this weekend in Pomona, but can't rely on others to take out Robert. We just need to go out there and do our job and race whoever's in the other lane and try and turn on 4 win lights.
Obviously, in funny cars, so much of it is on the driver. But as you mentioned yourself, the crew chief plays such a crucial role. You've got to get yourself mentally in the right spot. How do you keep your crew chief mentally in the right spot?
Honestly, I just let them do their thing. I mean, they do a great job staying relaxed and focused. And that's the cool thing about Coletta Motorsports as a whole. I mean, we got some really smart crew chiefs that work together really well between all the 4 teams over there, and they just kind of keep everybody grounded over there. And it's a great atmosphere, and I don't know, there's no other place I'd rather be. I mean, you see from the outside the other teams, it's kind of everybody's out for themselves and against each other, and that's definitely not the case at Coletta Motorsports. We want to see all of our teams succeed. And now it's to the point where our DHL Toyota Camry's in the hunt for the championship. So it's kind of all hands on deck to give us everything that we need to accomplish that. And it's a great time to be part of that organization.
Okay, so it's Sunday afternoon. We're out in Pomona. Everybody's ready. Final round's coming up. You're getting ready to get into the car. What's your routine? What's in your iPod? What are you listening to? What are you doing to get yourself mentally straight for that last run, maybe to the final championship?
Usually I'm just sitting there in the van, the tow vehicle, relaxing, talking to the crew guys, whatever. And they definitely got a wide variety of music that they'll play on their iPad or iPod or iPhone. It's pretty funny, some of the stuff they come up with. But no, we try and keep the mood light. I don't like to get too worked up or too pumped up. To stay calm and relax, and then once you get in the car, it's just focus on the job at hand. Going out there and crushing the tree, getting a good reaction time, and trying to keep that 11,000 horsepower Toyota Camry stuck down the middle of the groove, which it can be extremely hard to do at times. And Pomona, the lanes there have their own characteristics where it kind of want to pull the car one way or the other, and you got to stay on top of that. So more than anything, I just try to stay focused and stay relaxed at the same time, and not get too worked up. And more than anything, just have fun with all this. I mean, these opportunities don't come around that often, so when they do, you got to make the best of it. Just enjoy it.
Well, being the points leader going into the final round will get you invited on the show leading into that final round. Being the champion after will get you invited back as well. So I hope you're on the call next week. How's that?
That sounds great to me. I definitely look forward to calling you guys next week. That means we accomplished something big. And anytime I get to hear your voice, Ralph, it pumps me up because it makes me think that Supercross is right around the corner.
I appreciate that, JR. It'll be good to be hearing you back in the headphones next week. All the best this weekend. JR Todd and his DHL Toyota Camry going after the Funny Car Championship next week, joining us here on our Racing Electronics Hotline. We're coming right back to close out the show.
Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and pick up 5 quarts of O'Reilly Full Synthetic Motor Oil and a MicroGuard filter for $25.99. Extend the life of your vehicle and save money with 5 quarts of O'Reilly Full Synthetic Motor Oil and a MicroGuard filter for $25.99. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Here's a special message for those of you who owe the IRS at least $10,000 or more in back taxes. The IRS has special programs in place that could eliminate or reduce your tax debt by thousands of dollars. Call the Federal Tax Management Helpline that has been set up for you, 800-242-1706. Stop the wage garnishments, levies, and tax liens now. Once you've qualified and enrolled, the IRS will stop all the collection activities against you. These unique programs have been allocated to help the economy and significantly reduce or eliminate your tax burden. The IRS is currently accepting reduced settlements and other favorable programs. You may qualify for substantial savings, so get the help you need. If you owe more than $10,000 in taxes, call for free information and to see if you qualify. Take down the number now for the Federal Tax Management Hotline, 800-242-1706. That's 800-242-1706. 800-242-1706.
You're listening to The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Now, back to Ralph and Doug.
Well, we want to thank our guests, JR Todd and Matt Smith, for joining us on our Racing Electronics Hotline. You know, Racing Electronics provides the best communication equipment and technology to professional teams and drivers. And that very same technology is available in the products they offer race fans. Visit racingelectronics.com to learn more. All right, Pomona, just days, hours away, and we will know the final champions for 2018. Of course, Steve Torrance already having locked up Top Fuel. JR Todd, Robert Height, 74 points between the two of them going in to the final round. And Funny Car, Tanner Gray up 140 on Jed Coughlin Jr. And the one that's going to be so fun to watch, Pro Stock Motorcycle, Matt Smith, just 4 points separating him and Eddie Krawick as they make their way out to the Fairplex in Pomona. It's going to be a lot of fun. Doug Herbert will be back with us next week, and we will try to get as many of the newly crowned champions on our show next week. For the absent B25 pilot himself, Doug Herbert, I'm Ralph Sheheen. Thanks for joining us here on MRN Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. We'll see you next week.